The talk doesn't come from theory or from a textbook. It comes from 55 years of lived experience, years that included mistakes, surprises, setbacks, and quiet moments of clarity. I'm not sharing this to talk about my life. I'm sharing this so you can carry forward some of the lessons I had to learn the hard way and maybe walk your own path with a little more understanding and a little more gentleness towards yourself. You don't wake up one morning and decide, today I'd like to be tested in ways I'm not ready for. Life simply hands you moments. Some of them are heavy, some of them confusing, and some of them unfair. And before you realize it, you are sitting in a classroom you never chose, learning lessons you didn't ask for. The point isn't that you got enrolled. The point is what you do with what you learn while you're there. When you try something real, you risk failing. That's not a sign you're broken, it's a sign you're alive and moving. Failure is not the enemy of learning, it's part of the curriculum. The only failure that truly harms you is the one you refuse to look at. If you're willing to ask, what is this trying to teach me? Then every mistake becomes a teacher and not the verdict. Across 55 years, the most powerful lessons didn't come from pages, they came from people. Mentors opened doors in my mind. Rivals pushed me to grow where I was reluctant. True friends stood beside me when life felt heavy. And the people I was able to help taught me that giving is one of the clearest mirrors of who you are. If you pay attention to people, you will discover they are your living textbooks. Life doesn't arrive as one continuous, clear story. It comes in phases, chapters you don't always recognize until you're already in the next one. In the early years, you're mostly building skills, identity, and direction. In the middle years, you're juggling responsibilities, relationships, work, and self. Later, you're integrating, making sense of what it all meant. Each quarter of life teaches something different, and the important thing is not to rush through any of them, but to listen to what each phase is trying to show you. You're often told to work hard, plan carefully, and avoid failure. Those are not bad ideas, but they are incomplete. Life teaches you that working hard without working smart can exhaust you. It teaches you that pain isn't just something to escape, it's often the signal that something needs to change. And it teaches you that failure is not a bill you pay for doing something wrong. It's the tuition you pay for learning something real. The sooner you accept that life's lessons don't always match the brochure, the more prepared you will be. Pain is one of the most misunderstood teachers. We often see it as punishment, as proof that we did something wrong. But pain is information. It tells you where something is misaligned, where something needs attention, where something is asking to be healed or changed. The hardest seasons are often the ones that grow your deepest roots. If you don't run from every difficult feeling, some of them will quietly turn into direction. If I had to choose one sentence to carry forward from all these years, it would be this: you don't control everything life hands you. You don't control every circumstance, every timing, and every outcome. But you do have a say in how you respond, how you think, how you act, how you treat others, and how you treat yourself. Your response is where your power lives. And over time, your responses shape your path more than the events themselves. Wisdom doesn't arrive just because time passes. It arrives because you've walked through something, stayed with it long enough to understand it, and then chosen to rise differently. You get knocked down. That part is almost guaranteed. You stay down long enough to feel, to reflect, to ask questions. You get back up, but not as the same person. You carry new clarity, new boundaries, and new strength. And then, if you're willing, you pass it on. That last part, sharing what you've learned, is where wisdom becomes a gift, not just a private possession. If I could sit across from my 25-year-old self, I would try to protect him from every fall. I would tell him the falls are part of the point. I would remind him to be kinder to himself because he was doing the best he could with what he knew at the time. I would tell him that the hardest seasons would one day become the ones that meant the most. I would ask him to really see the people around him and to say the important things before time moved on. And I would tell him this: the life you are actually living, not the one in your head, is the one that matters. Even after 55 years, the school of hard knocks hasn't closed. I'm still learning, still being surprised, still being humbled, still being reminded that there is more to understand. The point isn't to graduate from difficulty. The point is to keep learning from it with a little more grace, a little more patience, and a little more wisdom each time. You're not behind. You're simply in a different part of the lesson.